Everybody, it's Patrick at the Pitch Deck. For today's video, we've got AB3 Rhinar. We're going to be doing some voiceover because during the recording, I was a little bit quiet for the video and had some background noises. So I figured I'd just go ahead and do a talk over here. So Rhinar's got a little bit of change. It's either fatigue with the dropping club or more mid-range. So we're going against the more aggro version here. Maybe they sideboard in, but we're going to use we're using a teapot that doesn't block, or see what's off the top maybe to evaluate. And here we're just going to block a little bit, and then we're still going to get something going here. I think we were going to be screwed either way because like we're not quote unquote stripping all the cards in our hand here. So technically that's just how it is if we start with the Intimidate trigger right away, unless we force our entire hand to be stripped and then the Intimidate doesn't IPS. But I think that was kind of a different play. I could have done it differently. Maybe just go ahead and go off the top and go from there. But we would have ran into another blue that was just pretty bad, and we would have went down for 6 life. So I think we were okay here. We've got another tome following up this Lesson in Lava. So here he lets the Lesson in Lava hit, but we choose to do some more damage, which is Snapback, I think, which probably might have not have been the right tutor. Honestly, maybe it should have been Ether Arc. I'm not used to it. This is the first time I've kind of getting used to it. I've been playing a couple of games as Kano. Mostly it's KO that I've been playing, so I might get some of that gameplay for you guys. So it could have been Aether Arc, see what's on top with the blue Ether Spindle, maybe. Go from there. But however, I wouldn't have my action point, so maybe that's probably why I did the Snapback instead. That way I can put this in my arsenal and not have to deal with awkwardness on top of the Kano activation. So I see that's why I did that maybe. Yeah, I've already used my action points, so this is fine. So this is what we did want him to do. We want him to toss out cards for that, which is we're happy to do. Unfortunately for him, he takes a little bit of a time to decide because, of course, it's always questionable to wonder if you should tap out versus a Kano. However, I think this is still the wrong play. You don't want to tap out just for claw, just pass. And at that point, we would take the pass because it's an IP for them if they didn't claw. Here we're gonna just see a claw anyways, and it's a blood rush. You're having that on your next turn with a tunic up, so no, that was probably like the worst thing you could do. Send 3, and that's one of your power cards, unless he has another blood rush. But still, that's a lot of damage. So here we're using I to see what's on top, but we need blues. Unfortunately, this would be nice, but we would need blues to kind of help out our 3 red hand. 3 card red hands, so it's a little bit unfortunate, but we're gonna keep the Ether Arc on top. It's not worth it to toss 3 reds as well for that card, as it's not the most impactful. They can just do 1 AB for the Ether Arc. So here we're just sending this, but we kind of get rewarded because there is a 1 cost on top that we see here. Because we would just Kano, and if there was a 2 cost, we'd be stuck with a red in the hand. So I think it was probably best to use a red to equal out the cost of Crucible plus the cost for it. I think I could have played that slightly better with the pitch. Because again, if we're stuck with a 2 cost, we're just stuck with another red card in our hand. And then we IP ourselves. So we're sending this out, and then he's forcing us to have another 3 resources be tossed out, which is, again, he runs into another blood rush. He would have had back-to-back blood rushes. He would have drawn off of that, unless in his hand, I don't know. But he taps out because he tapped everything out. Unfortunately, we aren't in the greatest situation for combo. Spindle with Lesson into Blazing isn't very doable. It is damage, which is what I'm considering here. Even though we can potentially shoot something at him, we can get damage maybe with a 2 cost and then send something on our turn to strip cards. So that's something I'm considering with my cursor waving and kind of doing math in my head here. We take a peek off the top anyway, so we see Sonic Boom. We can't use the blue because we want to use the blue for our Aether Spindle, and it's not going to do anything anyway, so we want the max value out of Spindle. And the reason why we don't usually Crucible Sonic Boom is because if we do run into a Spindle, we want to use the Crucible off of the free banish from Sonic Boom. However, we're just going to use the Crucible on our turn anyways. It defeats the purpose. Just go ahead and toss this yellow out instead. So we're going to send damage, a little bit of extra damage, some chip, kind of get into lead. Let's go ahead and toss this Spindle out. You don't want us to opt 5. You're going to have to give us something here, which makes it awkward for him, and we'll just pocket this Blazing. It's not great. Kind of chunky, clunky, so to speak. Sorry. Clunky in some situations. Well, here we'll just bottom the second Blazing because we saw one at the beginning as well. If I'm not mistaken. So for this one, yeah, it was a Blazing off the eye. So this will be our third Blazing to go away, which is fine. But I think we're using a lot of our lessons. So we'll just get 2 blues instead. Would have seen Blazing with Sonic on top, which isn't great. We're trading a red for a red, but the red that we like is Wildfire instead, which is what we want. So here he just sends around a runner, nothing too impactful. We're not having a lot of pressure. More likely it's a red in his hand. For this red to be impactful, it has to be something nice, but still AB2 on the Wildfire. And again, we're like practically level. So what we can do is just go to our turn. He does get an arsenal. We can shoot some more cards and ship some more damage. We're not in a rush at all right now. We'll just go ahead and pass to make it a little less awkward. We can go with a Kano first to see if there's anything off the top, which is not great for Singe. Because then we can, if it was something really impactful, we can use Blazing along with the card that's off the top. But here we're kind of stuck with the option of IPing ourselves again, because it's not the best situation. You can do Sonic Boom with the Singe of pitching the Wildfire away, but we've already blocked with one. That's why we're quickly checking our graveyard. We get an Aether Spindle, which is good because we can still pay for it. So our IP isn't crazy. You can just go ahead and pitch this Wildfire away. Which again, if they let this hit, we can further to find the second or third Wildfire. And 2 lessons down, it's not too crazy. I think it might have been a risky play to pitch for that, but I'm not a fan of IPing as well. And it's free value. So that's the free value that we like. And there is potential to find a good combo piece. Which if we had 3 blues plus a lesson, I think our last lesson, it would be lesson blazing for 24, and we can get him down to 6. But of course he has a tunic floating, so of course it's a little less. But here we go with a Kano to start. See if there's anything juicy. You do see blue Aether Flare. Pop this home. I just put 2 snapbacks back into my deck. I've kind of missed them, I'm not gonna lie. They are doing work in this game. So we can probably do a little bit of math here. We do get Gaze of Ages, see what's on top. Might as well to see what we can kind of combine here. But we get rewarded that our Wildfires are kind of stacking nicely together. We're not being pressured a lot, even if they were, the last one was towards the bottom. So here we're going to send this out. Hesitate a little bit because I think the math is a little bit better with not the blue but the red instead. So I take it back actually just to use a pitch, different type of pitch. use that instead. We really don't want to be caught with the tome in our hand. That's our last one because we had one earlier and we just used one as well. It takes the one. So instead, we're going to go off the top with more chip damage rather than less chip damage. Because if we use the boost off of 3 damage, it's not as great as if it were to be used. Actually, they're both 3 damage. I'm stupid. Ignore that comment. Ignore that comment. So, chip damage is no matter what. It's going to happen. And we're hoping that he does some more pitching for this particular card. Because it is just raw damage. So we get lucky and get ahead of him in life total. So we get to have 3 blues plus wildfire, but we sense in packing here and he's a little bit tapped out. Not so sure that was the right play. I think I would have gone with a CNC. It's just as impactful. I probably would have went for it as well with the CNC, but there is stuff to consider with the 1 card in hand plus the tunic. So there is things to, it's a little awkward because I'm stuck with having to IP myself if it was CNC and I double blocked. I might just send my last wildfire, but then again, I'm not feeling very great with that. I'd probably just try to do something. Maybe just let the blazing go and just have 3 blues on my turn plus wildfire. That could have been an option. But here we're going with a ether arc, getting the max value out of everything. It's a 0 cost plus 4 blues and our tunic, so everything gets noted. So with this one, we get to completely kill off of 25. Usually this amounts to, this one is double or triple noted. So it's going to be about 35, I think. Because I think the bottom is 32 or 31. So maybe 34. Yeah, plus 2, plus 1. So this one is 34 total, I think. Anyways, it's pretty good to death. And even if it was post combo, I really like the fact that we get a ponder after this. He won't get to see what it is because the ponder happens after this resolves. So the ponder, the turn will end. I'll see what the card is. I can probably arsenal it and go about my day to have a free arsenal on the opponent's turn, which I like. So that's the Rhinar match for this particular style of Rhinar. I'm hoping to get some club Rhinar for you guys later on, which is a little bit more mid-range / fatigue. But maybe this has a different sideboard for claw to advance quickly. All right, guys, thanks for watching.